Hello, everybody.
Hi,
I'm Talita Dotson,
I'm Revelle Rivers,
and
and we
we're
are
Sis
Sis
Showing
Showing
Important
Important
to Short.
Support.
Okay, for everybody, please make sure you like, follow, and share. Stop it. Please make sure you like, follow, and share Showing Important Support. And also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the same thing as Showing Important Support. This way that you guys can get the notifications and on any upcoming events that we may have. We will also want to do a disclaimer. Our disclaimer is that we're two sisters, not acting in the capacity of professionals, but sharing our opinions and our views on different things that we've experienced. And also, we have for our guest speakers, the disclaimer as well is they're coming on as well as speakers and not like in a professional standpoint, but they're giving their views as well. And any videos and any music and anything that's played, we don't own the rights to any of those video and music that's being played.
Okay, so we have a dedication. I think we did show this picture before, but we're gonna show it again because this picture is this is about children today. So this is her with her grandkids, our mom. So we are dedicating this to our mom as usual. Um, Today is February. I'm sorry. Today is March the
March 8th.
March 8th, 2023, and we
Right.
dedicate this to you, mom.
Exactly. Okay, so our mental health check. I know we normally do a mental health check and we check in on everybody's mental health. But just to save time, our mental health is great, and we hope that your mental health is matching our mental health. If there's anybody experiencing anything, suicide or anything like that, please, like I said, we always mention on our show. Please put it in the chat, and one of our moderators will reach out to you. Just some housekeeping issues that I wanted, housekeeping notes to say. Some of our topics may be sensitive. So as always, just remain respectful and supportive because remember, this is the purpose of our group is to support everybody. Okay, now you want to introduce?
Okay, so we do have a panel today of speakers. So I'm going to introduce the first speaker, just introducing all of them. They're not going to speak yet. We're just introducing them. Okay, so the first speaker we have is Marsha Webb.
Okay. I'll just bring you live so you can wave, Marsha. Okay.
Hi, Marshall.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay, then next we have Alyssa Underwood. Hi, Alyssa.
Good evening.
And then last we have Marie Lassiter Black. Hi.
Hey, Marie. Okay. Okay. Going to your program. So, my sister is going to do a slideshow presentation. Like to say today, we're talking about bullying, ADHD, depression, and we're talking about suicide with the children today. So today's show is dedicated to our children. So I'm gonna go to my slideshow presentation. I'll put up my slide. So I'm gonna share my screen. And then I'm gonna share. Give me 1 minute. That's Facebook. That's that. Entire screen. Let's do that, and that way I can bring up my slideshow. Oops. 1 second. Okay, and then I'm gonna need my moderators that are on Facebook and YouTube. Can you let me know if you can see this slideshow screen? So on Facebook and YouTube, let me know before I get started. I want to make sure that everybody can see this on every Marie said, "Are you live yet?" And Rita said, "Yes." Marie, we're on our wait, hold on 1 second. Is our YouTube up and running? Give me 1 second, guys. I want to make sure. Make sure our YouTube channel's up and running. Can you guys see YouTube yet? Give us 1 second. We want to make sure that everybody can see. So yes, we can see YouTube. Or yes, we can see the screen. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start from the beginning. Got it? Okay. All right, so just gonna leave it.
Okay, so this song here by Whitney Houston, I believe the children are our future, is definitely true today. Children are our future, but with so many things that our children are facing today, like social media, which plays a big part in the world today, and so many other things, we have to wonder or ask, will some of our children make it to the future? Please let us help our children. So first of all, I just want to take my hat off to the children that is facing any of these that I'm going to be talking about today. Anxiety, depression, bullying or being bullied, ADHD, and suicide. So symptoms of anxiety in children would be not eating properly, quickly getting angry or irritable, being out of control during outbursts, constantly worrying or having negative thoughts, feeling tense and fidgety, or using the toilet often.
Okay.
What is the root cause of anxiety in children?
Okay, wait a minute, hold on 1 second. Wait a minute. So they said they could not see. Give me 1 second. We can't see the slides. Okay, give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let's see why we can't see the slides. Give me 1 minute, because I want to make sure you see the slides. Let me see. Let me stop sharing my. Give me 1 minute. Okay, give me 1 second. So entire screen. So how come my slides are not showing? This will happen before. Um. So can you help me, moderator Tasha, that's on there, just so we can show the slides, please? Mm. Give me 1 second. To that space, but why my slides are the slides are down here. Give me 1 second. So it says entire screen. The audio sounds better now. Okay. What about? Okay, so we want to be able to see the slides, and it said that our slides was not showing. Give me 1 second. Technical difficulty. I can see you and the guest. Okay. I need for you to be able to see the slides. We did not see the video, and the sound is very distorted. Okay. So share entire screen share window. Nope. I don't know why my I don't even see the video as a selection on her now. I'll show my entire screen. Tasha can what it says, and you what she say, and you may already on your screen. I can't see I can't understand what you're saying, Tasha. Here, let me call it 1 minute. Because my slides are not coming up. I don't know why we having a problem with the slides coming up, but it's not even showing where I could select it. Give me 1 second. Technical difficulty. Okay. Elder, come help me with this. I'm trying to bring up the slide. How come I can't bring up my slide? Right, we're trying to bring up the slide. Okay, so I did share screen. So entire screen I hit. So how could I bring up
the slides up though?
right here? Got my slides right here. How do I get my slides?
There.
Here, wait a minute. We got somebody here helping us. Hold on 1 second. I want to share this one right here.
This one.
Okay, yeah, the PowerPoint. Yeah.
This right here.
Uh-huh. Can you see the PowerPoint now? Huh? I didn't hear you. Okay. Just gonna mute myself while I'm figuring it out. Are you able to see now?
She said mute.
No.
Mute. How you mute?
Okay, click off here. And then click this. All right. All right. Let me see. All right. Now go ahead. Can we do it now?
Go back to it.
Okay. Sorry. Gotcha. Can you see? Can everybody see it now? Can you see it?
No, you don't see it.
You don't see it?
Yes. See you.
Wait. How come it's not showing it?
Did you go back?
Wait a minute. Tasha, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, that's what he said.
Go back. Go back to them. All right, now
Okay, wait.
click
Wait a minute, 1 second.
share the screen. No, go back to it. Share.
Okay. Go back to here. Okay.
Now share your screen again.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Share screen, entire screen.
Okay, entire screen. Okay.
Now click it. Share screen. No.
Okay. Now can you see it? There we go.
See if they
Okay.
ask me, can they hear it?
Can you see it? Okay.
Can they hear it?
Yeah. Can you hear it? Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so this song by Whitney Houston, I believe the children are our future, is definitely true. Children are the future. But with so many things that our children are facing today, like social media, which plays a big part in the world today, and so many other things, we have to wonder or ask, some of our children, are they going to see the future? Please let us help our children. So first of all, I just want to take my hat off to the parents who have children that is facing any of these things that I'm going to be talking about today: anxiety, depression, bullying or being bullied, ADHD, and suicide. Symptoms of anxiety in children: that's not eating properly, quickly getting angry or irritable, and being out of control during outbursts, constantly worrying or having negative thoughts, feeling tense and fidgety, or using the toilet often. What is the root cause of anxiety in children? Things that happen in a child's life can be stressful and difficult to cope with, like a loss, a serious illness, a death of a loved one. Violence or abuse can lead some kids to becoming anxious. Also, learned behaviors growing up in a family where others are fearful or anxious also can teach a child to be afraid. Anxiety and depression in children. Anxiety and depression may present as fear or worry, but can also make children irritable, angry, feeling sad, and not wanting to do or enjoy doing fun things. Anxiety and depression symptoms can also include trouble sleeping as well as physical activities. Bullying or being bullied. How can bullying cause some anxiety and depression? People may ask, why do kids bully? Well, the common reason is because he or she lacks attention from a parent at home and lashes out at others for attention. Also, they bully because they feel powerless, low self-esteem, trying to get attention from friends, and fear of being left out if they don't join. Bullying can result in physical injury, social and emotional distress, self-harm, and even death. It also increases the risk for depression, anxiety, sleep difficulties, lower academic achievement, and dropping out of school. So I have a personal experience of being bullied. When I was in the first grade, this boy used to chase me home every day. And so one day my mother seen him chasing me home, and she asked him, why was he chasing me home? He told her that I owed him money. I didn't owe him anything. But he wanted me to bring him money every day to school, and since I didn't, he would chase me home. So that day when she found him chasing me home, she went ahead and gave him the money anyway. And I was a little mad about that because I know I didn't owe him anything. But I later on realized that she did that because she knew that that would stop him from chasing me home. My sister also have experience with bullying.
Well, it's not that I experienced bullying. I want to talk about like first when it came one of my children, one of my son. We moved and he became to this new school, and every day he loved to eat breakfast at home, and he loved to eat breakfast for the school too. He loved to eat. And so one day my husband called me at work and he was like, he hasn't been going to school eating breakfast. He's only been eating breakfast at home. And so therefore I'm like, really? So I questioned him about it, when I got home, and he was saying nothing's wrong. And so I was like, no, something's going on. So he refused to tell me. And so the next day again, my husband called me at work. He was like, he didn't eat breakfast at school. He stayed home and ate breakfast. And so I really sat him down when I got home, and I'm like, look, let's talk about this. I'm like, because something's wrong. You not eating breakfast at school too. He loves to eat. And so he finally told me that he was being bullied at school, that two people were bullying him. And I think he was more embarrassed about it because it was two girls. So I called the teacher and I let her know what was going on. She defended the kids because they had been at the school since they were like in the preschool, and she had them all the way up until like third or fourth grade. And she said, it can't be them because they're the star students. We have them in charge of the class. So it's not them. And of course, I got upset with her because of the fact that, she never wanted to look into it. So anyway, I called the principal. However, the principal looked into it, and what he did was he said, I'm gonna do something I never really do. So he gave all the kids in the class, and it was about 20 some kids, and he said a piece of paper, and he told them, he asked the two students to step out and the teacher, and he asked them if they had just say yes or no. Don't put your name down. Just write yes or no if you experienced these things that they were doing with this boy. And so all the kids wrote down yes, and even some of the kids wrote down that they were being bullied too. They had been being bullied for years by these people and have talked to the teacher. The teacher never did anything about it. And so what this did with my son when he came in, when we talked about it, was that it opened up a whole thing. And so therefore the teacher wasn't there anymore and the two students wasn't there. So it helped. And not only did it help him, but it helped other students too that was in the classroom. So I praised him for that.
So children with ADHD, which stands for attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Symptoms are being unable to sit still, especially in a calm or quiet surroundings, constantly fidgeting, being unable to concentrate on a task, excessive physical movement, excessive talking, being unable to wait their turn, acting out without thinking or interrupting the conversation. They also have self-assessment quizzes to check and see if you have ADHD if you want to. And my sister also is going to speak on ADHD.
Well, ADHD, that's one thing you have to be really careful about because so many of our children, just from me being in the healthcare facility, I know the previous information, but many of our kids, they could be misdiagnosed. Basically, they want to take everybody and diagnose them as ADHD because they're jumping off the chair, they're jumping off the table. When everybody, ain't always, ADHD, they over medicate our children. Some of our children can benefit from the medication, and some of our children it can't. And basically, you have to remember when your kid is put on these medications, they're like in a zombie state because they're only because what it does is trains their mind to like just focus and just focus on just the task that's in front of you, not what's going on around you, but just the task that's in front of you. And like I said, so you have to be parents, you have to be very careful. They did try to diagnose my son with ADHD because he would get done with his work and he would like play with his pencils. But it was that he was like kind of he was very smart. And the fact that he would get done with his work and start playing with his pencils. So they did test him and they did find out that it really wasn't ADHD, or they probably knew that I wasn't gonna go for that diagnosis for my child. But again, just be careful. Make good second opinions when you're dealing with ADHD. Next.
Okay. So suicide in children and teens. Suicide among young people continue to be a serious problem. Okay, and suicide, here's the definition of it here, is the act of intentionally causing one's own death. Okay, so suicide among young people continues to be a serious problem. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for children, adolescents, and young adults aged 15 to 24 years old. The majority of children and adolescents who attempt suicide have a significant mental health disorder, usually depression. Dipping suicide rates in 2019 continued in 2022, but the CDC released that 2021 reversed most of that improvement and brought rates back to near record levels above about 14 suicide deaths for every 100,000 people. There are phone numbers that you can call here to reach out for help. Dial in 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline 24/7, and it's free and confidential support. How to evaluate and management of suicide and self-harm risks. Okay, so this process involves 4 steps: A, B, C, D. A, assess risk. B, build hope and reasons for living. C, strengthen connections with protective adults. And D, develop safety plan. And again, that's the number again if someone are having suicidal ideations. Okay, so I have some scriptures here. Proverbs 12:25. Anxious fear brings depression, but a life-giving word of encouragement can do wonders to restore joy to the heart. Ephesians 6:1-3. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment, with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on this earth. Okay, so here's a mental health, behavioral health inpatient building that was built in October of 2021 in the Cleveland Heights location. This building was built because of the demand for behavioral health inpatient unit. This building deals with patients for psych med, mood disorders, psych ICU, thought disorder, adolescent dual diagnosis, and general psych. Um, so patients have to go to the emergency room to be assessed, and then they will determine if they need to be in house at the mental health behavior inpatient building. And that was a number that you guys can call, or if you want to call to seek help. And that's again talking about the mood disorder, the thought disorder, and the adolescents. Okay. Okay, so also there's a school I have information on. This school deals with children with anxiety, with ADHD. Also, this school is gifted for kids. This school is named Miller Park Academy. So Miller Park Academy stands for Developing the Potential of Gifted Learners. They have counselors there to help kids deal with anxiety. They do social, emotional support with the children by having them talk with counselors and show them how to deal with their feelings. If the children gets anxious, they would give them time out if they need it. They have a quiet place where they can go if they are overwhelmed. They have different style of chairs that move. So these chairs have wheels. If a child gets fidgety, they can move. They have an open space to learn, which means this room has a lot of space to move. They also teach the children to cope with skills such as breathing or being aware of their feelings and how to control them. And this here is just saying how to access mental health treatment. And that's the end.
Okay. Everybody back in?
And that was just the end of the slide. Okay. So we're going to bring our speakers on. The first speaker we're going to have is Marsha Webb, who is the case manager.
Marsha, you on?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Marsha Webb. I'm a case manager. I work generally with families and mostly children,
Yes.
assessing safety and investigating families for abuse, neglect, dependency, and develop case plans to help resolve the concerns that we identify.
Okay. Marsha.
Okay, so next we're going to have Alyssa Underwood, who is a behavior specialist.
Mute every time somebody talks because it's an echo.
So let me put here's a list. Let me know if you can hear. Wait, once you want to mute, make sure you can hear. Make sure you can hear her. I'm gonna hear stuff. Make sure you can hear her. Because if we get an echo, you. Okay, go ahead and talk.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Can you hear
Okay.
her? You can hear her?
Yeah. Okay. As stated before, yes, I'm a behavioral health specialist. I provide therapeutic behavioral services, which in short is TBS. I also assist families in getting connected with different resources within the community, whether that's if a family needs help getting access to like a local food bank, or if they need to know what type of coalition or collaboratives are in their neighborhood, I assist with that. Because the purpose of this show, I was going to just briefly talk about what I do as far as with the mental health aspect of that. I usually work 95% with my families in the home. The other 5% could be at like a park, a library, a school. I work with kids ranging from 9 all the way up to the age of 25. And I know those aren't considered kids, but that's kind of the range of where I work with. I don't provide therapy services because I'm not licensed, but I do provide the therapeutic behavioral services, which helps the kids manage their symptoms in the now. The difference between therapy and TBS is therapy focuses on their past traumas and the TBS focuses on their present symptoms and how they can function and maneuver through their day-to-day lives in that sense. Usually when I am connected with a family, I spend the first 2 or 3 sessions just getting to know the families, getting the kid to know me, and vice versa. Because if we're being honest, anytime you meet a new person, it can be a little scary. And especially when you're 9, it's like, who is this person that I'm supposed to tell all of my secrets to? So I do advocate very much on building rapport and making that a big factor in our relationships. I also encourage and let them know that we have confidentiality in all aspects of our relationship, especially with like the families, the parents, whether it's the kids. I let them know that the only time that I ever have to break our confidentiality is if they're trying to hurt themselves, if someone is hurting them, or if they're planning on hurting somebody. Other than that, I tell them I'm like your personal journal. You can tell me everything. I'll keep it with me and I won't tell anybody. Outside of that, more specifically when it comes to helping the kids manage, depending on what their mental health diagnosis is, depends on what type of treatments or interventions, resources that I instruct with them. I did want to say one of the most important things that I will say is if I ever encourage a client to that's struggling with anxiety, if I ever encourage them to like journal, that's something that we practice during sessions because I feel like the more repetition we have, the better off the kid is. I can't just say like, hey, journaling is a good coping skill that helps you overcome your anxiety and never practice it with them. And so having that kind of practice helps them to, go out and continue to use that. The intention always with my clients is that we are not supposed to be here for forever. It should be a cutoff when you are able to say, hey, Miss Alyssa, thank you for all these skills. I think I'm ready to try them on my own. And eventually we get to that point and, go through that process. But in a nutshell, that's kind of what I do and provide for my kiddos. So.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
next we're going to have Marie Nestor Black.
Wait a minute, 1 second. Can I speak to you this? Everybody but Marie.
Okay, so we're going to have Marie Nestor Black, who was founder of Dancing for Life Black organization.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, ladies. I appreciate this platform. I just want to thank guys for having me again, be able to share my message and story with you and what Dancing for Life entails. First and foremost, I'm grateful for being here. Thank God for being given the opportunity to share this platform with these beautiful young ladies. I'm founder again, yes, of Dancing for Life Tyree Black organization. It is an organization that was initiated or started in 2015 following the death of my 13-year-old son who took his life due to suicide. It was the traumatic occurrence or the tragedy happened in the upstairs corridor of my home. He was in his room, came home from school, and I was cooking dinner, and one thing led to another. My son, which I did not know, it was being bullied, and he had some anger issues, but he hung himself. So this happened in 2014, and from that point, I decided to deal with my pain by starting Dancing for Life. Um, and he was a dancer, a phenomenal dancer. He danced with the City of Cleveland Show Wagon Dancers. He was in Singing Angels. He was also a basketball player. And friendly with the ladies too. So yeah, he was a fun, go lucky, happy young man, beautiful smile. And as you can see his little smile up there, that's my son. He was a month shy of 14. However, I had to share my traumatic experience. It's been a painful one. And I started this journey through a way to reach other mothers, reach other people who have lost a loved one, whether it be suicide, violence, whatever, homicide, or murder. And I'm able to be a vocal, a piece to share my message. And that the way I use Dancing for Life is what I use it to share, to deal with my pain and share my message. So, Dancing for Life is a twofold message: dancing for the rest of Tyree's life and dancing to save lives. Um, I've had various venues over the last 6 and 7 years. In that time, I've had sponsorships from the Cuyahoga County Mental Health Board. Various prominent individuals have been on the venue. Yvonne Pointer has always been my moderator. She's been my number one supporter along with my family. Um, they've helped me to carry on this message to reach people. And the unique twist to Dancing for Life is that it's so unique, it's so genuine because I haven't suffered from depression and anxiety. And I'm able also to share my message. It's been the foundation of it originated in the church, and that's where I've carried my message on under my bishop, David Heron, and we started in Lady Brenda Heron, and they carried me under their wings to begin to grassroots develop the organization. And from that time, so many people have been impacted, and the concept of the actual event, the Dancing for Life Praise Dance Fest, is to combat suicide. And what I bring in is various individuals throughout the community who encumbered you or encumbered myself during my son's death. And during his funeral, so many people lifted me up in my spirit and strengthened me through the community. So I decided to carry that on and share it with so many others. How much time do I have?
Go ahead. You good.
Okay, and share the message with so many others of how I gained strength from support. And I thought that if the community came together, whether spiritual, um, political, at various, just the community in general, if we all come together and support each other, what an effect would be. So the initial Dancing for Life event was just huge, and we just continued it. And unfortunately, I wanted to add that we have counselors on hand. We just give, it's free of charge. We do so many things just to reach people. And it's just so genuine. We have skits, we have poetry, and we deal with the actual issue of suicide, depression, anxiety itself. We tackle it head on, which is a huge monster. And then we come back with the dance to give people hope. But the highlight of the event, the opening area of the event is the moderation. We sit down and first talk about it. Then we go into the celebration. So and unfortunately, prior or right after the pandemic, it came to a halt. Whereas I was diagnosed with breast cancer, so I had to take a back seat a little bit, get my health together, and now this year, and then I held a walk because I really couldn't do it full force due to my health issues. So I rebounded, and I'm coming back, and I want to thank you two ladies, Miss Talitha and Miss Rebel, from the bottom of my heart, because you lit the fire again to go ahead and continue this quest. Um, and I was praying on it, Lord, what should I do about what you want me to do? Because I really had kind of put Dancing for Life on the back banner and back and forth toiling, what should I do to continue it? And I thank you for igniting that fire again, because I thank you for accepting the invitation to come as panelists this year. So yeah, it's going to continue, and then it'll be rebounding. Let me get the name right. Rebounding possessing the land, rebounding back from pain, past pains, um, past pains, trauma, and one more thing. But that's the essence of the title for it this year, and we're gonna go ahead and have it. It'll be taking place in September. We haven't. It's a tentative date, 23rd, the 23rd or the 30th. It's always surrounding Tyree's birthday. September 26th is when he was born. He died August 29th. But September 26th, which is also Suicide Awareness Month, is when we'll have it. So this year it will be twofold. We'll have it to combat suicide and also to combat breast cancer, which is a week after October or after September when we have the event. So thank you for having me. I hope I wasn't too long-winded.
No, you're
And I
good.
appreciate you.
Can you tell us what can we donations be made to the organization?
Most definitely. I do have a cash app,
Okay.
there it's money or $ dancing for life tie. So it's just as it says, it's money sign DAN dancing for life TY, short for Tyree.
Can the moderators put that in the chat box on Facebook and YouTube, please? Okay, everybody do yourself. Thank you very much, Marie.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we're gonna take questions from the audience and comments. Say the cash app one more time, Marie. Can't hear you. Oh, okay, she put it in there.
Dancing for life tie. I put it in the chat. Dancing for life tie. TY. DANCING FORLIFETY. Dancing for life tie.
Okay.
Money
Thank
sign
you.
dancing for life tie.
Okay, thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
everybody do stuff. Make sure everybody's on mute because we're getting this echo noise for some reason. Okay. Hey, Dasha, 'cause I don't know why we have so much echo on our end. Do you think you can do the comments for us? Or why we have so much echo? I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna go to some of the comments. Okay. Okay, they're coming. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I don't see Marsha anymore. Number one. And let me see, kind of going through, there was just some comments. Delisa Rivers said bullying is so sad. Let's see. We had a question from Cecile Orr. What if parents are in denial of some of their issues? I guess some of their kids' issues.
Any of the parents on the panel? Marie, you want to answer?
I believe that it's so imperative that okay, I can only share my own experience. As a mother, I was raising 6 children by myself. So it was hard. It was really hard. I believe that the signs, I think it's not so much that I was in denial. I think the signs are there. I mean, like it's a mother's intuition with our children. I believe, Talitha, you spoke on it as a mother. You saw the signs with your child. Something wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Just their pattern change. And there were things that my son, like he played football when he was younger, and he had a bad concussion and he started acting weird. And I said, Tari, I think I'm gonna get you some counseling here. You pick up on those things. I think it's imperative as parents that we nip those things in the bud, because before we know it, if they're acting angry, we see that anger and they're acting out. Oh, don't worry about the stigma and all of that. Get your child some counseling. It's necessary. So I think that we just need to be more aware and deal with it head on. Otherwise, God forbid, I don't want any mother to end up walking in my shoes.
Yeah.
And it was too late.
Right. Okay. Tasha, go ahead.
Just a comment from Marie Johnson. Kids are our future. Let's make sure they make it.
Yes.
And Cecile Orr said, is this presentation in the Cleveland area?
Yes.
Yes. Laquita Smith says, how do you know the difference between a child having anxiety versus a phase?
Alyssa, you want to take that?
Sure. I'll say that a phase is something short-term, short-lived, right? So if you notice your kid is very aggressive and maybe that lasted for 6 months and maybe that was just an issue that, or event that happened that made him that way or increased his anger or her anger, versus anxiety where it starts small and it starts getting gradually bigger and bigger and bigger and becoming a big thing. I think that's where you can notice the difference. But I think it also comes into effect, like, as we've been saying, like as a parent, you just pay attention to your kid's style, their behaviors. Nobody knows your kid better than you. So I think when you're really looking in depth at those symptoms, it's almost important to just kind of track them. If you notice, like for the past couple weeks, hey, your daughter has been experiencing a few different emotions or behaviors. Okay, let's keep track of that. Let's see how far that is. It continuing on for months? Is that continuing on for a year? Whereas a phase, like I said, would be just like a week or two, or a couple months, or however. So, yeah.
Okay, Joshua. I think that's for Alyssa.
Yeah. For this purposes, do you want me to mention, or do you want me to give that information to you and you'll provide that to them later?
Let me say that again.
Do you want me to mention the organization, or do you that to you? You can give that to them later.
Yeah, you can mention the organization.
Oh, okay. So I work through Ohio Guidestone. We are all over Ohio. So I work primarily in the Cleveland location because that's where I'm located, but we're all over. So
thank you. Tasha. What's the difference between growing or needing actual intervention? Marsha, you want to take that one?
Sure. I think there's a couple of things. You look at the age of the child. The difference between growing pains or needing actual intervention is, like Alyssa shared, if your observation shows you that that young person is intensifying in the behaviors that you're not used to seeing in them, then you come to a place where it gets more intense. You never want them to go off the edge. So intervention is always a good step to take. And that intervention looks different in some ways. It may be talking out the situation, kind of like with your example, Talitha, really just digging in with your child. If you have an established relationship of trust and respect with that young person, generally they'll eventually tell what is causing them the anxiety or it turns into depression. But sustainable behavior changes is always a strong indicator. And some of the interventions can range anywhere from talking through, and as a parent or a person who's in that child's corner, doesn't necessarily always have to be a parent. It could be a pastor, it could be a teacher, it could be a counselor, it could just be a neighbor who really pays attention to the ebb and flow of behaviors of kids that are near and around them. It truly does take a village society. Um, so if just simple intervention does not quell that anxiety that that child is experiencing, counseling is always a good option. Used to be in a lot of our thoughts that counseling was a sign that there was something mentally wrong, or and I think that we're more and more these days dispelling that myth. It's very important. Behavioral therapies are available that can help retrain a child's way of thinking and help them to push through some of the things that causes them anxiety. Uh, in the more extreme cases, medication therapies can also be a good helper in dealing with some of the more significant things that impact our kids. Trauma is not something that you can easily always kind of talk out or, help the child put in perspective. And sometimes, depending on the severity of the trauma that a child may experience, in the slideshow where they talked about loss of life, separation anxiety is a very real issue in these days, involving our kids, our preteens.
Kind of break it up.
Now,
Yeah, you kind of, yeah.
okay.
Okay. Tasha?
Miss Gina was replying to Cecile Orr, said, I believe a parent has to be open to listening to outsiders regarding your child.
That's true.
Mhm.
Cecile Orr said, thanks. Laquita, what are they doing? So she was replying to someone, but she was asking, what are they doing in the schools to help these children?
I think everything that they were doing.
Yeah, that's through Miller Park Academy. Yeah,
I don't know why we
I think Laquita answered it and said, some schools offer therapy or have on-site therapists.
gotcha.
yes.
And that's it for right now.
Okay. I don't know why we have this echo. Let me see if there's something we can do about it. I don't want to. So can you say so? All the just the 'cause I felt too in the background noise or not. Just wanted to share a couple of things. This better. Is everybody mute? Why do we have this? Okay. Let me see. It's still echoing.
Mhm.
I'm not for sure why we echoing. Using access. Okay. Let me just close out this stuff. Make sure it's not on. Okay. Still echo. I don't know. Natasha, figure out why we doing. I don't know why we like that. Um, I was trying to figure out a way to stop it. I thought maybe it's because of the speakers were, but they got their mute, so I'm not for sure why I'm doing. It's crazy. If everyone's on mute, I'm not sure why they're still up. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. What was this? Are we on two of them? Wait a minute. Let's look like we got two live. See that one? All right, I'm gonna come. Hopefully we don't. One of these. Hold on one. Okay. Can everybody see us now? Marie, can you see us? Okay.
Okay.
Make sure they can hear. Make sure that people can hear us. Okay. Yes, we can see you. Okay. All right. So I think it was two screens that was open. Sorry. We're having so much. We're learning this. We're learning. Okay. Much improved. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to go over. Great. It looked like we had two lives open when we were trying to bring in that video, the slideshow. So we had two lives brought in. So just a couple of things I wanted to share. And some things that I saw on TV, and this is just like protection tips for parents. And this is what they recommend. They recommend no phones under. Here, let me put us up so we can see. Okay, so they recommend no phones under 13 years old. That parents shouldn't. They also recommend no social media under 13, as it is federal law that children should not be under 13, should not have an online account to any social media thing at all. It's actually the law. And then they said physically at nighttime, physically take phones and tablets away at nighttime. You have to physically take them away. Um, and then it says, and then impact reducing the time of spend time with your children. Take away these devices. And they also recommend too that parents put your phone down as well and spend time with your children. That way, you go back to the time where when social media wasn't around. Social media is great to have and is wonderful, but the thing of it is um one thing that I used to worry about was the neighbor next door when it came down to my child. But now it's like we have to worry about the neighbor over in Venezuela, the neighbor over, and because they're over in all these different places because they're so much connected with the social media. So I think like weekly, if you can do it like twice a week, or maybe do some weekends, like shut down all social media. Have family time at the table where we used to sit around and that way make it where your kid can come to you and talk to you about things. TV only watch 3, 5, and 8. Put it back to 3, 5, and 8. That way and you can watch the news, but you're getting all that distraction. I think the kids have so many distractions these days. It's hard it's hard as a kid and it's hard as parents to raise kids in these today's times. So I think if some of us will stick to some of this stuff, and then allow time your child to talk to you and and things like that. But I think it's so important for us to get back to, like I say, the dark ages of when we were coming up and when our parents were coming up. To get back to there is what I think. That we need to, it's good. We want our kids to have all the modern technology and up to date things, but all the modern some of it is just ain't good, and you have to know when to use it and when not to use it. And those are just things that when I was watching the TV, and that's what they had brought up some of these things too. Also, it says, and then because then you get into sextortion. So they were saying like for social media account, don't for the kids that you do have on there, don't put their full names and things like that on there. And also, make sure you go through their followers, go through their cell phones, go through. You have to be not just present as a parent, you have to be active. Get involved with the schools, things like that. Let them know that that you're there, as a parent. So you have to get back to the basics, like Marsha mentioned in the chat. Get back to the basics, because the thing of it is, all this modern technology, what it's doing is it's crippling our kids and it's crippling us. You think you want to share to that?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll
So
get-
Quita's saying just a couple comments. Quita's saying that's exactly why my 6-year-old will not the iPhone 13. Okay, yeah. Cecil said exactly. Nene said that she agreed. Limited electronic use, but I do believe cell phones is a safety privilege that we benefit from. Yeah, but when they're going to school, but when they're home, we can definitely, they don't have to have a cell phone at home. A lot of, but I do, at some point we used to say, I remember back in the days when we were coming up, we used to walk to school and do all of that. We didn't have cell phones. We made it okay. I guess we okay, right? So yeah, I understand what you're saying, right? I do agree, that the kids, like safety is a thing, but I do also believe that, you have to put some type of boundaries.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we are.
I mean, it's a different time. It's a different time. You're right, but I still think we need boundaries. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we are getting ready basically to end our program, but before we end the program, we always come in with a positive note. So we have a special speaker who is a child himself. He's going to end with a positive note. He's my grandson, Lavelle Borum Jr. He's age 14 years old, a teenager. He currently attends Brush High School, and he is on the honor roll, and he plays basketball.
Okay, so before Jessica mentioned, just before I bring him in, real fast, both of my kids have iPads, and then Cecil, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Very interesting topics. Thank you. And then Laquita said everything in moderation. All right, so we're bringing LJ in. Give me 1 minute. We can see you now. I'm gonna bring you in. Give me 1 second. Okay, you have the floor.
Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
everyone. This is my positive note on parents. Afraid to talk to your
You breaking up.
You breaking up. You breaking
Yeah,
up.
breaking up.
If you need to come down here and get here, you can have my seat.
So no.
Here, let me hear you now.
Hello.
Yes, we could hear you.
Okay, children never parents about anything,
Can
even though.
Come down. Come
You're
here.
breaking up.
Come down here so you can take my spot.
All right.
All right, he'll be back on, guys. Let me see. Any other comments or anything before he comes live? We can end his thing here. No, he's going to come down here where we're at. So, Gina, we know your son is so handsome. Yes, he is. All right. You ready? Is he coming? You gotta turn up. Here you go. Pick one spot. go ahead. Just put it right there beside you. Here you go. Let's sit next to your granny.
All right, I'm back. Hello, everyone. This is my positive note I have for children and parents. Children, never be afraid to talk to your parents about anything, even though sometimes you may feel you shouldn't tell them everything. Usually, your parents have been through similar problems and they can help you guide you through. Usually, your parents have been through a similar situation to help guide you through it. Even though you feel it's not the right thing to do, it is. An example is sometimes you see a lot of kids nowadays getting into different problems because they don't feel they can talk to their parents. But parents should also be open to talk to their children because it doesn't matter. If they're fine or not, they may be holding something in because they don't know how they would be treated or react to. Children, there are plenty of help out here. You have your school guidance counselors, you have family members such as grandmothers, grandfathers, uncles, aunties, and etc. And that's all I have for today. Thank you for listening.
Yay.
Thank you, LJ.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good job. Okay. All right. So, but
Okay, so the next section we're going to be talking about is mental abuse. And that's going to be Tuesday, March 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. So we're not going to be on next week, but the week after next we'll be on, which is March 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. And again, we're going to be talking about mental abuse.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. We want to thank everyone for these are my brothers. That ain't her brother. We want to thank everyone for we want to thank Marie for coming on, sharing your story. Don't forget her foundation donation. We want to make donations to her foundation. I'll bring her live so she can wave. Marie, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Just stay there. Don't leave. Also, Alyssa, we want to thank you for thank you for coming on, sharing with us. Also, Marshall, we want to thank you for coming on.
Marshall.
Is everyone done with the comments and everything? So we're gonna go ahead and end our live. Anybody have any comments or anything like that before we end our live? Again, we'll see you back not next week, but
so LJ, CJ says thank you, young man.
You say what? Who's it? Where?
CJ says thank you, young man.
Wait, let me bring him up on the screen so he can see. Okay, thank you, young man. See, and then Cecil said, "See, so I hope I'm pronouncing you right. Yes, the whole village to help kids. You said it right. Yep.
Yes.
And I'll just going back to some of the comments to make sure we got everybody's comments.
These said great positive points. Thank you, D.
Okay, thank you, D. And is that it?
And Quita said thanks, LJ.
Okay, good job. Okay. Bless you guys. Thank you. Bless you too. Okay. Is that it? Okay. Which one? What makes it easier for kids to talk to their parents? Come on, Elder, you answer that one. That's yours. Come on. Come on. They added one more. That's yours. What do you think it makes easier?
You ask what makes it easier for kids to talk to their parents about it. Maybe spending time with them, going on a walk, going places, going out to eat, and things like that. Just spending time with them and get a chance to talk with them and see what they say.
So stay there in case you have any more questions for you. You can bring them up.
Is that it? that's it.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. We want to thank everybody. We are going to have more, with children, because children are our future. So we're going to have more with them. And so again, we want to thank our panel again for coming on and sharing their stories. And we appreciate you guys. And we're going to end the live. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Stay on my panel.